probably thinking, Mare, that's a really random song to be listening to. You would be right, but I'm going to a 90s party next weekend, and so I've been playing 90s music all day and getting really excited about it. Welcome to the Mareathon. My name is Mare. Welcome back to the Mareathon. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Lace up and subscribe today. We're about to hit 6,000 subscribers here in the Mareathon, and I could not be more excited about it and more honored. The amount of messages I get from you, it just like warms my heart that you find value and takeaway in these videos. And today is kind of a two-parter. I posted my own goals, like reflection of 2018 and then looking ahead to 2019 about a week ago. And then there was a ton of discussion in the Mareathoner Facebook group about goal setting, goals, and the technique I talked about in that video about using a word for the year instead of like a zillion goals. And so I thought I would deep dive into that today, and a marathoner has very graciously allowed me to use her example. As a bit of a backstory, last year I chose the word health as my word for 2018. I'd never done this before. I have no idea how I came up with the idea. It wasn't like I found it on YouTube or someone else told me that they did that. I just one day, probably while meditating, came up with this thought that what if I just chose a word so that every decision I was making and everything I was doing that year would reflect back on that word, and I'd be able to know whether or not it was a good decision. So I chose health, and it was like mental health, physical health, spiritual health, social health, all things combined. And I found it to be the most successful I'd ever been with my goal setting for a year. Rather than setting like specific New Year's resolutions, I found this to be great. So let me know if you want to know in a separate video everything I did for health, like what apps worked for me, what things I bought, what things I dropped, what I walked away from, like all that kind of stuff, in case health is a big thing for you this year. And that's also, I just feel like I should say it's continuing in 2019. I'm not like, peace out 2018, now my health just goes to shit. Like, no, I feel like in those 365 days last year, I built a really good foundation that I continue to build on, which, side note, thanks to Michelle, who's a marathoner, who is giving me an old elliptical, which a friend of mine, Andrew, is gonna help me pick up later today and put in my basement. So the health journey continues with jazz hands. Anyways, so a lot of you saw that video, and then we were talking about it in the Mareathoner Facebook group, and you were choosing words, but there wasn't any like follow-up or direction. So I thought I would explain how it worked for me. So once you choose that word, whatever it's going to be for you, I highly recommend then making like bullet points of what that's going to mean to you. So I'll give you this marathoner's example. She wrote in the group, I've been thinking about this a lot and haven't settled on a word yet. We have a lot of certain and potential change happening this year. Our daughter will be starting kindergarten, starting to feel anxious and emotional about this. We need to figure out if we're gonna stay in our condo or if we can afford to get a bigger place, hopefully close to a good school. I also have some health changes I need to make, so I'm not sure if my word will be change or something to do with that. And instantly, I came up with what I suggested should be her word for this year. And I thought, why not it be open? I said open to change, open to feeling the feelings, to being brave enough to try, open to starting, open to pivoting if the choices need to change, open to being kind to yourself, open to it all, and to knowing that you're laying the groundwork for the future. So that when things come up and she's feeling like stressed about decisions, it's like just be open to choices. Or she's, you know, feeling nervous about making health choices, it's like just be open to trying something. So if she's like trying to, I don't know, eat better, because who isn't trying that, just being open to like switching one lunch a week or 2 lunches a week, or one, you know, part of her lunch that she packs for a week kind of thing, just being open to that. So it is being open to change, but then also being open to being kind to yourself if you need to pivot those changes. And for me, health was a big thing for that. It helped me be also kinder to myself, like working on my health, but that goes hand in hand with being healthy and having healthy self-talk. So I hope that that's a good example and that makes sense to you. So for me this year, my word is courage. That's what I've decided on. And so I thought I would read to you what some of that courage will mean to me this year. These are the few of the things that courage means to me this year. To stand up for myself, to take care of my health, so that's continuing. And that really takes courage for me because it takes courage to make better choices and to, you know, want to try to get a piece of exercise equipment, and then the courage to ask Andrew to help me today because I feel like that's taking time out of his day, and then the courage to set it up, the courage to get up early and actually use said elliptical, the courage to continue to go to spin, to start this yoga series that I started with some marathoners last night. So that, like, you can kind of see how that one word can continue to spiral off into great areas for me, or like being at a restaurant and having the courage to make a better decision. The courage to really focus on the marathon and to figure out how to take it from hobby to something more successful and something wider reaching that gives me the opportunity to travel and meet more of you, to do more keynotes, to book more keynotes, to spread this message that you and I are very aware of, but I feel like we could do so much good in this world if others were able to be exposed to it. The courage to date, that's a big one for me this year. The courage to trust in my story and to trust in the purpose and to trust that in sharing my story, I am doing what I am meant to do. The courage to set boundaries with people, with work, the courage to ask for help, like I just gave an example for today. The courage to be closer to my family, because often I will wait for people to reach out, and then it's the courage for me to continue to be the one who's reaching out, or like the one who's doing the travel to go see them. Like I did in 2018, saw them all, which was pretty exciting. And then a big one for me is the courage to release past judgments about Thomas's development. And I touched on this in, I think, my goals for 2019, but I have a lot of like PTSD with his development and the things that have happened in the last 7 years with Thomas. So the courage to let go of that and to really push forward with this incredible new therapy team that we have. If you're new to my channel, or this is your first video of mine you're watching, hello, thanks for hanging out. My son Thomas is 7.5 and he's deaf and he has autism. And so one of my goals for this year is to really help him with his development, and the courage to do that and to find the time in the day and to get the help that we need, etc. So I hope that those are good examples for you, like 3, my one from last year and this year, and then this marathoners one, to show you that like it's good to set a word, but then it's also really good to attach meaning to that word in multiple areas of your life. So, you know, there were some marathoners who were saying like respect was their word for this year. And then other ones were saying like love and growth and success. So say like your word is success for this year. Well, success what? Like what does that mean for you? I think that's a really admirable thing, just like courage would be an admirable word. But if you don't have any direction with it or any specifics with it, then it's not going to get you anywhere, you know? So for me, that's why like courage is big, and it's one of my words that I always come back to. I say to myself multiple times a day, like if I'm going into something that is nerve-wracking or I'm trying to make a decision. I'm getting like flushed. Look at this. This is how excited I am to talk about this kind of stuff. I need to just like wear turtlenecks. No, the courage to be flushed, to show you that I'm really excited about like goal setting and going after your dreams and going after your purpose. Like these are things that are so, they just like light a fire within me, and that's why I love doing these videos and doing keynotes and helping you, and it also helps me. Like I feel, especially with losing Jeremy, which will soon be 2 years ago, which is just unbelievable. Life's short and you don't know what's gonna happen, and why not put forth the effort to make your time here as purposeful and as fun and rewarding and exciting as you possibly can. That's really become a motto for me. since then. So that is what I'm going to say today for this. I hope it helps. I'd love to know what your word is for this year, but then as a follow-up, like why or what, or like what would be the bullet points underneath it. So say if it's success, it's like success means what to you? Does it mean getting a promotion? And then if that's part of it, then it's like, okay, well, how I'm going to work towards that promotion. Or does it mean, you know, getting yourself out of debt? Well, then what's the game plan for that? Does it mean like hitting the gym twice a week? Well, how are you going to do that? You know, so it's great to have the word and then to have the goals and then to have the action statements to get you to continue that word and that goal. So that's it for today. Comment down below, marathoners. I'd love to hear from you and let you weigh in on this. If you've had a word, if you've done this before, this was new to me. Like I said, I just like randomly came up with it last year and it was so successful that I wanted to share it with you. And then also let me know if you want to see that health video, so like stuff that worked for me last year and then how I'm continuing to go on that journey this year. So thanks for watching. Lace up, become a marathoner, subscribe to my channel. We do a mix of these sit down Ask Mare videos, and then we also do a mix of like follow me around vlogs, and I would love to see you hang out. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. And you can't pause for the thumbnails because the music's too good.